live. Hola, mi gente. Joe Barreto live from the Credit Card Connection Studios in rainy, my God, rainy, damp, and humid Hackensack, New Jersey. Welcome, mi gente. We got an amazing show for you today. I got the man, the myth, the cashback legend, RJ and La Casa here. And RJ, to tell you how popular and how many people are looking forward to, Vincent Pasquale, my man, texted me literally and said, just want to text you what's up and tell RJ I said hi. So
hey, that's great. I've seen Vincent a lot of times. We've seen him a lot in the comments. That's great. I'm glad. Anytime we get invited anywhere, it's nice. You know, it's the running joke. People say you just sit inside, don't talk to anyone. We're still inside, but I'm talking to other people, hanging out this evening. So happy to be here. It's going to be a great time. Anytime we can talk, because where else can you talk about this stuff at, right? So
no, the cool kids only talk here. That's what it is. It's just the cool kids, But I want to just shout out the people that are here. Then I'm going to ask you to just tell us all about yourself, because I have a lot of people that literally have been telling me they've been following you forever and doing what you're telling them. And I need to learn, because that is my weakness. So we're going to jump right into that. I want to say hello to Tariq Gaines. Tariq is one of those, I don't know if you've seen Tariq, RJ, but we call him Flex Gaines because he has like a bunch of Chase Flex cards, right? The Freedom card, but he's built and brolic. So he's Flex Gaines. So
I saw his pro, it's like one of those things where like you never see, like, if I see like your little icon, your avatar, then I'm like, oh yeah, I know who that is. I'm looking through the chat now.
So he's the papi. He's the built papi there. I got Angelo Joseph. How are you, papi? ¿Cómo está, papa? Good to have you here. Sledge is at the Oyster Bar with the wife, but he texted me and he asked me to ask you, and I'm not going to forget this. When are you applying for his luxury card? He wants to know when you're going to get the black card.
From the black card? I think it's funny because that's like one of my most popular videos, and I did it on a whim because I didn't know what to talk about that day, and the mailer came, and I was like, I guess I'll talk about this. And like, so every so often that video gets a small bump because they'll do like a mailing campaign, I think, and people will go and like, what is this? And then it gets a small bump. So I don't know. Do they offer an intro offer? Because my rule of thumb is like, I'll apply for anything so long as it has an intro offer. You should be paid to open a bank account, banking product. If I'm not paid, I can't do it.
Well, Sledge is the CEO, according to him. He says that he'll give you a great discount, $9.95 a year with no sign-up bonus. And he says that's a great bargain.
Well, we can talk about a timeshare next, perhaps.
Well, I want to say hello to Xavier. Xavier is on all of our channels. Xavier is the man. I freaking love Xavier. I'm going to call him Mr. 1099 because he always throws super chats at everybody. Xavier, papi, how are you? We got DJ Bruce Wayne in La Casa. Time for the lounges. He has his first Amex Plat and received a $175K offer. Way to go, nice. DJ Bruce Wayne.
That's pretty good. Back in my day, it was just $100K. 175 is fantastic.
This is, and we got to see. They want to know if you're ready for the Wepa challenge. Don't know, but Luis is here. Hola, Luis. Vincent Pasquale has Juan Garcia. Wepa from he's Mr. MIA. Look at that. And the king of cashback and bank bonuses. Look at that. You got a fan club here, mi gente. All right. Juan Meow Mix. Kevin here. Kevin is 18 years old. And Kevin is like a G when it comes to cards. Kevin never fails these lives. So we're going to get into his questions in a minute. Christian Cruz, Wepa, saludos. Xavier already started with the super chats. How you doing, papi? Thank you so much. Wepa, Johnny Jimenez, hello, RJ, and everybody here. Tech Yoda, Ernest, Wepa, hermano, how are you, papi? Look at that. El señor 5%. That's you're Mr. 5% cash back on everything. That's what he just said.
Trying. I think that was Uncle Luke coined that a while back. And that's the goal, trying to get the 5% back on everything. What? I think we're getting there.
And now they gave it to him bilingual. Look at this. Talking big money with boss players. Chad's Money Minutes. Chad, what's going on, papi? All right. And we have, here's Debbie. Yeah, well, he's right. The storm here. You can't even see outside. I'm hoping the light doesn't go on me here. I think that happened to Sledge once. But we got Chad in the house. Manuel Santiago, the Papi Chulo from Palm Coast, Florida. How are you, papi? And here's my bro, again, Kevin, saying he's been watching you for 2 years. So he was still like in freaking high school at that point.
Yeah, within what, 16 then? Wow.
That's so cool. Look at that. We got Frugal Dad Finance. How you doing? Bobby Yakuzo, Darius Jamal. How you doing? Return of the Mac, Craig Mack. RJ, that man's watch game is. Oh, look at that. What you rocking tonight? Show them what you're rocking.
Today is the Sky Dweller day. There's two. It's either this one or the Sea Dweller. So weirdly enough, even though I don't really go anywhere for work, this has always been like they work. It's a little bit dressier, you know. And the Sea Dweller a little bit more casual. So, you know, both black dial, of course.
Well, for RJ, and you guys know I've never done this before, but I wore my Omega Constellation just for RJ, and I wore a sort of a black shirt in his honor.
It's appreciated.
No, RJ, you are the man. John, thank you so much. Papi, I love you. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. So, RJ, I want you to tell me, gente, here, what's going on. What have you been up to? What do you do? Tell them about the channels. John, if you could throw, not that RJ needs the, I'm sure everybody has his channel, but please throw it up there, John. I would appreciate it. Talk to them, RJ.
Yeah, so you know, for those of you just meeting the first time, or if I've known you for 2 years, which is scary because you've been watching for 2 years, you just think how bad it was 2 years ago to now. So it's concerning when people are like, yeah, we've been around from the beginning. So we've got a few things going. So RJ Financial is the main channel. That's primarily I look at it as like more like education, deep dive topics, some conversational pieces. And of course, we do like a roundup of the news every Sunday. If you're like, hey, just what's going on in the, what do I say? All the news you could use in the week that was in credit and finance. Just a lot of the quick hit stories kind of keep us up to date. Of course, we'll do a lot of credit card overviews, especially a lot of the stuff that gets overlooked, right? Like a lot of the cards, like the AAA Daily Advantage, right? That just gets overlooked. There's still some gems there. And then Run on the Bank is the second channel. That one's about, I don't know, maybe going on 2 years old now, maybe a year old. And that's all dedicated to bank account promotions, where the actual money is at. If you like credit cards, bank promotions are actually much easier because you can go through much quicker, and we'll get into that. But that one's 2 videos a week dedicated to bank bonuses. We try to make them nationwide, so everyone, if you're watching, you can see it. And then, of course, we put credit card offers on there as well. And then the third spot is, of course, we have profitablecontent.com, which is the website, which is kind of like a combination of all of those. So you get all the bank promotions. You can filter by state. Of course, there's cards over there as well and some news stories. So it's kind of like a main 3 spots. And if you really care, you know, we have a Discord channel members as well, but we can talk about that towards the end if you like what you see. Just start with the free stuff first. But so we got what you need. The whole idea was like to try to make the most profitable community on the internet and kind of link it all together. So that's kind of what I try to do.
And I have to tell you, and again, I'm honored that you're here tonight with me. You, even before I really got into this crazy and I started following you and watching your videos, any question I ever had, you always responded. You're the reason why, honestly, I got the Wells Fargo autograph card because
I remember that question. I remember that one.
And I kid you not. I thank you for that because, to be honest with you, and I make it a point when we do the lives, you know, I'm Puerto Rican. Our people never really learned this at an age to do credit or finance or anything like that. And, you know, it's amazing to see people, especially of people of color from different backgrounds, coming in and bringing their take on it, how they got involved, and just opening other people's eyes to things that they never really see. And I thank you for that because it's really needed in this space. And, you know, it's just so much out there to learn, and you put it in such a way for all of us to pick up on it. And I thank you for that.
No, my pleasure. I mean, I'm glad to hear it. And like I said, it means a lot, and you to get invited. You know, I think when you look out, there's a simple way of just like kind of talk to people like people, you know, when you're trying to explain things. Like, you know, none of us really talk as pretentious as the banks write it, or we may have to even talk in work email and all that, right? Which I get, but when you can just like talk to people as a person and make it more conversational, you know, I think that goes a long way and makes it a lot easier and more approachable too, because a lot of this stuff is made to look daunting on purpose, I think, to scare people to a certain extent. So try to kind of just simplify it down, you know, because then it's like, oh, then you're like, oh, I totally get this, right? It's not that bad once you get into it. So you gotta make it approachable.
No, and that's what you do. You put, it's so funny because I guess people that have met you in person, like I mentioned before we came on, this is the first time I've spoken to RJ ever face to like this. People tell me, yo, what you see is what you get. That's him, low key, and I love it, and you know, that's why I'm glad to have you here tonight, because we normally do the credit card points and this and miles and whatever and redemptions, but there's a whole other world out there of cards that I'm really not used to or have, because I don't know really how to use their function for it, right? So, we're gonna go into that literally right now. Austin is asking, Austin Price, thank you for being here tonight. I appreciate it. Are you still running the Bank of America preferred reward setup?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I've got 3 of the cards. So the unlimited cash card goes to what, 2.6% if you're in Bank of America Preferred Rewards. And it's just so everyone follow along. So Bank of America is like a relationship bank, and then you basically means give me more of your money, then I'll give you better rewards. So their cards scale, multipliers do. And so I just did mine through like a Roth IRA. So I'm platinum honors, which is like 100 grand with them, which sounds like a lot, but again, if you've been working long enough, like in a retirement account, it's like not that crazy. Yes, I've got the customized cash, and I have the Susan G. Komen, which is also basically another customized cash card. And I've used them a lot more than I thought, because what I didn't realize is those cards, the customized cash cards, are a pick your category, and your top category gets 5.25% up to 2,500 and spend a quarter. But you can change the category like once a month, which most cards you can't do that, as you know. So as a result, I've actually gotten a lot more use out of them. Like getting to New Orleans and Luke's trip. I put most of my travel on one of those because I can flip it to travel and I'm good to go. So still very happy with my Bank of America setup. It gets a lot of use.
Well, I did a bank visit back in February to all the local banks here. And I'll be honest with you, Bank of America, I loved their banking, the way they have it set up, where you have Merrill Lynch in there, you have all the different offices available to everyone. They have people that speak several languages. And I was telling everybody here, they make it almost feel like, as large as the bank is, as a community bank almost. So people felt comfortable. They didn't feel overwhelmed going in there. So that was my takeaway when I went to visit them. So I'm glad you're mentioning a lot of people in this space don't really go into the Bank of America stuff because there's no real transferable points, let's say, right? So you're not going to say that's my go-to for that. But as you said, and other people on the channels here, it's a phenomenal setup. And obviously there's people here that do it because they're asking you about it.
I think Stan, Credit Frogs, he's also a Bank of America guy.
Yep.
Like, it's definitely more cash back driven. I know they have travel cards. If you like no frills travel, that I know you can do, they have like the travel rewards, but I think it's more those 3 cards. It's more so a cashback setup. I don't think they can quite keep up with the actual travel folks of the travel issuers out there, but cashback, the problem is I think the problem is, one, they don't make preferred rewards straightforward. They do the math. Yeah, the math works, but there's an easier way to do it so people could be like, oh, I get what I understand what I'm getting. And I do think it sounds daunting when you say like, yeah, it's got to be 100 grand. But again, like in my 30s now, so if you've been working over the course of 3-4 jobs, like just rolling that over to an IRA, whichever one you want, it's actually like not that bad. Getting that much money over time.
Damn, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Well, you got a compliment here. This is Jesse YouTube experiment that you're competing with the doctor of credit with your website. Look at that.
Well, I appreciate it. The doctor is, he's still the king. He had something on his site today about, reliable source telling him, that the Capital One might be planning some stuff, some new cards or some new intro offers. I still go to the doctor's site to grab a lot of stuff. I think it's a lot about if you guys ever seen like MKBHD, right? The tech guy does a lot of reviews. Yeah. He had a quote one time. He's like, make the thing that you want to see. And so the website, the profitable content, is kind of just like what I wished his look like, right? It's like I can filter by state. It's a little more clean. There's a little more put into aesthetics, maybe. But he's been around forever, man. So I can't say I'm taking the crown from him yet. But we're working on it. We're working on it. So I appreciate it.
No, that's so cool. And John, I want to thank you for the member, for being a member here for 4 months again, John. Guys, thank you for the membership. And before I forget, because I almost did, I want to thank all of you. Today, I woke up to finally cracking 4,000 subscribers. So
look at that.
I thank you guys. That means a hell of a lot to me. It's been a grind in a year and a half, but I got to 4, and I couldn't do it without these guys. As you could see, on a random Tuesday night, the crew is always here. So I'm grateful.
There's a lot of people here. It's great. I mean, you get 4 people to agree on a place to go for dinner, right? So to get 4,000 people, to press the button is a big deal.
No, thank you, RJ. I appreciate that, especially coming from you. But you said, I have people here like John. John has been a member. John always sends out memberships to the people here. It's an amazing community. So I'm just really happy and thankful to all of them for getting me to that level. And we're going to keep pushing forward, mi gente. That's just what we're going to do from here on out. I have Michael Robbins here. Hello to our fellow credit junkies. He says, RJ's a man. I got a lot of good bonuses watching him.
Oh, yeah. I've seen David a lot, and I'm glad to hear it.
So David, welcome. M2K, you'll eventually get in the watch game. Papi, it takes a minute, and you don't have to go expensive, as we were talking about that before, right? You don't have to do that.
No, not at all. You get a lot of stuff. I started with Movados and Oakley watches, which plus things scale up, right? Because I go back to, my first job, like 2009, 2010. Yeah, I was making $10 an hour, but they're still good watches. They look good, and I did like them. I still like some of those Movado designs to this day.
And actually, you just beat him. Here, I had a bunch of questions. What's your favorite watch brand? What is your, so
favorite?
What's a good watch to start with?
So it's funny because it'll sound hypocritical because like you, I do like Omega the best. I think I like how none of their watch. I mean, everyone's got their own, like everyone has their version of the Datejust, right, across all the brands. But I do respect when you look at Omega watches, like they are different than Rolex watches. I also think Omega treats their customer much better than a lot of the big guys. You want a watch, you can buy it today. If you walk into a boutique, Rolex, I don't want to get overly technical for folks, but like if you have a dive watch, right, they have like this class that you can adjust, as they call it, glide lock, right? Makes it super comfortable. But Rolex will be like, why would you ever need to put glide lock on an Explorer? Because it's made to put your watch over your dive suit without having to adjust the bracelet. But Omega will take their best stuff and they'll put it in all the watches. They don't do this weird thing where they start restricting them. You want to buy a new strap, they'll sell it to you with a smile on and put it on for you. Rolex, they're going to be uptight about it. So I think of the way out of all of those brands, before you go into like the ridiculously luxury ones, like your APs and your Pateks, which, it's a whole nother thing. Like I think Omega gets it right. Like that's how you should treat someone who wants to pay that much money to buy your product. So I'll go with that. As far as was a good starter watch was the other. I mean, it depends on what your price range is. I think another benefit, we were talking about this before we jumped on, is the one reason I got into Omega is you can get used Omega for really good value. And I had a lot. I preferred to buy used watches before everything went really crazy. Now with certain brands, it no longer makes sense to. But Omega, you can get yourself any version of a Speedmaster or an Aquaterra, which would be great. Maybe I haven't checked the prices, but I mean, like maybe you could probably spend like $2,000. Get something. If you want to go lower than that, I still think you mentioned Tissot, Longines be very good. Was it that Hamilton?
Hamilton's beautiful too.
Hamilton would be good too. I would say go and look at them and try them on because it's almost like buying dress shoes or buying a car. They're all going to look the same to a lot of us, but you're going to see one and that'll be the one. And like, you'll just know, right? So I think that's really what you have to do to get in. But those would be some brands to check out, I think, in I'll say the entry level. And if you want mid-tier, I think Tudor, and Omega, on the used end would be really good value too.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Somebody mentioned earlier, and I skipped over it by mistake, that they have the Grand Seiko, which I think the Snowflake, I think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
The face on that watch is just amazing. So the takeaway for me is always, you know, you don't have to go that expensive. As long as you like the way it looks and it functions for you and you use it, just to keep it in a box never made sense to me. So, you know, I want to
Oh
use it. I
yeah,
want to see it and use it. I don't care. You know,
the investment people, they got lucky, right? Like they were never supposed to appreciate that much, right? It happened. You
right.
know, it just doesn't make it an investment. Are some are is the Tiffany Nautilus, if you could find one, sure, but like that's such a rare thing. Like I also believe, like, you know, there are a lot of people with money invested in the watch market who have to keep the watch market propped up, right? So, you know, if you think about it, really, like, is there a shortage of watches? If you took all the watches on sale on Chrono and the gray dealers, is there a shortage, or is it just like I can't get one, but they're still out there? So
$100.
it's somewhat propped up and inflated, in my opinion. I mean, I haven't put a ton of research into this, but you know,
Well, I want to also give Justin Jammer sent me a super chat here. Justin, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Xavier, another super chat. Thank you, Xavier. I really just thank you guys. Justin in at 499. Thank you so much, Papi. Enjoy both your channels. Thank you for the knowledge. Justin, I thank you. We thank you for being here. So I had a question up. Where is it? Do you consider yourself a gunslinger when it comes to signing up for cards and bank bonuses, or do you take more agnostic approach? I think I know the answer to that.
I'm a degenerate and I'll sign up for anything. It's just the gist of it. Some of it's done for fun, right? So there's like three phases. Like number one, and on the serious to the not so serious. My goal for bank promotions is $10,000 a year. My goal to make on credit cards is $5,000 a year. Then through the second channel on the website, I'd also like to get 10,000 through referrals. So I do go fast and hard, especially on the bank promotions, because there's a lot less downside, right? Like, you know, they have check systems, which is your basically a credit report just for deposit accounts. But we're never going to know how sensitive banks are, right? Like, is it like 2 accounts open and closed in the last month? We don't know the same way we know like 524 or Bank of America's 3 and 12 or 7 and 12 if you're a customer. So bank accounts, I'll pretty much go for everything. I've been dialing it back a little bit. If like every data point has been like, hey, I'm getting declined, I'm like, all right, I'm probably not going to bother with it. But for the most part, I like to shoot as much as I can. Credit cards, for a while, I was a little bit more chill when I was still on like the 524 cap, and then I kind of decided, you know, how long are you really gonna stay under 524? I've been lapping chase cards basically, right? So like I went out and I started getting like everything. I think I've applied for like 19 cards this year so far. Because like why not, you know? But now I'm getting denied for everything, so I'm gonna have to forcibly sit on the bench, and then, you know, I'll apply for like a $5 bank bonus, more so as a joke, but also because I do think if I'm telling people 10 grand is possible, one, you got to be moving to hit that number, and number two, how would you feel if I came up short by that amount of money? So until you cross the $10,000 line, keep going hard. It's kind of how I look at it.
Like a boss. I love it. I was watching your video where I think was it this week or last week where you said you were like 10, 8, and something in the
Oh
approval
yeah,
denial.
yeah, yeah. Like I'm 10 and 8, I think, on the year. Well, I got since then. I think I got a Citizens Bank business card that was a hassle to get, but yeah. So I think it's like 10 and 8 or something like that on the year now on the applications.
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, just go for it. You know, it depends on where you're at in your credit journey, right? Like, you know, there's a young man in the Discord who's like 19. Like, I would never tell him to do this, right?
Right.
Because he's too thin file because he's young, and that's fine. He's okay. We'll put him on a path. By the time he gets through his chase cards, then go crazy, you know. But you've been doing it long enough, you know, you should be relatively thick file. Like there's really not that big of a drop in like credit score or anything like that I've seen. Because I think that was the last video you're talking about where I went through it
Yep.
just to show. But no, I mean, there's just too much money. Plus, I mean, that you can. The reason I came to be cash is because I can use cash, and like I cash out at the end of the year, but it makes a material difference in my life and the things I'm trying to do to go that hard. I look at it as like it's never going to replace your job, but it's still at the end of the year, if you could earn 10 grand total between those, like that's not nothing. I mean, that's like
No, that's a
serious
heck of a
money.
lot. Are you kidding? No. Now, Jesse here. What's your favorite credit union sign up bonus that is still available nationwide? Bro, we're getting specific here.
Probably. So they've gotten tougher, right? But Affinity was really good. They're still good because they were like they were like $100 payout, but let's say $1,000 in credit card funding and through referral program. They've gotten tougher on the referrals because people have just kept spamming referrals every year, right? So now you have to know, like in quotes, know the person. From what I've heard, like I had a friend of the channel refer his son, and then they actually had to call in and, like, son had to provide dad's like address or something, right? Because you're never supposed to just be posting your referral link online like so many of us do. But Affinity's still a good one. You still get a referral program. You could still refer your friends and family, your wife, girlfriend, whoever. You still get the credit card funding, and you get $100 for, like, I think it's like a direct deposit. So as far as credit unions, Affinity's the one that comes to mind. I'd have to look back through some other ones, but they're pretty good.
Now, what do you do with banks that you see online, like Ally, what SoFi, all these other? Do you do a lot of those as well, or just whatever pops? Like, how do you go about it? How do you select?
I will do anything if you offer me promotional offer. That's gonna be a YouTube short of it.
You're gonna, guys, remember what RJ just said.
Incredible.
He's willing to do anything.
I will. So I have an Ally. Ally had a referral program. Yes, I'm just going to keep the conversation moving. Ally had a referral program, but it was targeted. They never sent me a referral link, unfortunately. But I do have Ally. I kept my checking account because they did have a checking account bonus a while back through referral. I think that's how I got it. But that was the first one they ever had. I do have an Ally savings. I like Ally because they don't seem to care how much money I move anymore.
Okay.
Like, they did mess it up for a while, but they eventually fixed it, which is the whole thing. But no, I've done SoFi as well. So
Okay.
I'll do the offers. Like, will I stick around and bank with you? Like, that's rare. But if you have an offer and it looks like we can get into it, like, I'll definitely give it a shot.
Because I've gotten, even today, I got another email from Amex. I have a business checking with them, and now they're sending me, oh, if you want a personal one, I think the offer was like $200 if you do two $1,000 deposits in 90 days, which I didn't think was terrible, but
Yeah, it's fine.
but I'm asking you because you
Oh, I would do it.
You would do it?
The Amex ones, you usually have to have a personal credit card to do it for some reason, which
Right.
I don't know why they do this, right? Because the goal of every other bank is usually deposit accounts are free and they get you in the door. American Express is like, no, we don't want you unless you have a credit card with us, and you have to have had the credit card for like 3 months, I think. So if I had a credit card, they keep putting me in pop-up jail on the personal side. So we don't have a card. But no, if you're like $200 for like 2 direct deposits of like, $1,000 or whatever it is each, I would definitely do that.
Okay.
Because like, you gotta your money, like, most of us are like working, right? I have a real job still, and your direct deposit has to go somewhere. So like, those are just, switch your direct deposit, which sounds like a lot of work. And for some people it is, but most places everywhere I've worked has used something like Workday or UltiPro or ADP, where like you can go and do it yourself. So it's really not that bad. I mean, you're talking about doing this during the workday, right? So it's not, that
See,
bad.
because you haven't worked for the city of New York, where
Most
literally,
people.
oh my God, I wanted to kill myself. I've had Citibank. That's been my deposit for almost 38 years now, because literally you had to send them a canceled check with the routing
Yeah.
number, with all this nonsense. And even to this day, you can't do anything with them online. It's ridiculous. So,
Yeah.
ugh.
I
Vincent
understand.
wants to know, would you get an Apple Watch if you got a third-party watch band that was manufactured in the exact same factories as high-end Swiss watch brands?
All right, so I'll answer last thought on the other one, just so for anyone watching who has the problem that you had with the city of New York, we have ways that we can get around the direct deposit requirement, right? So talk to me if you're like, hey, like, this is an issue. We know sometimes sending money from business accounts works. Sometimes sending money from a Wise account works. So it's not the end of the world. I don't want people to be discouraged, but I understand your point. So the Apple Watch, I had the first gen Apple Watch, believe it or not. I wanted to love it because like everything else I have is Apple, and everyone knows I'm a giant sheeple. I really just missed my regular watch. I think I was still wearing Movados at the time. So I don't, to the question though, like would I wear an Apple Watch? I kind of want one for working out and running, but like I don't know if I want to spend the money just to have it for like 2 hours of the day, and then because it kind of defeats the purpose, right?
Yeah.
For the Apple Watch, I don't personally really think you need to go buy an expensive band for it. I don't think you need to buy the Apple ones. Like when I had it, again, this was, what is it, almost 10 years old now. Like I had like a Milanese loop from like Amazon, right? And like they're kind of the same thing. And so I don't know that I would spend the money on like a designer. If you want the Hermes one, or if you just want the band because you really like it, like I've seen some of the Link bracelet ones are expensive, but they do look very nice. I think something like that could be worth it. It also gives it that weight, that I like to have a little bit of weight in the watch. But if you just want like a strap, like no, I think it's okay. I'd be fine just buying like the regular bands unless something really caught your eye.
Thank you for that. And I want to thank Juan Garcia for another super chat. Juan, papi, gracias, papa. I really appreciate you. Juan is the best, man. Juan is and his wife, they're just amazing. And Juan is next level. We did a live, and he's a guy that knows his stuff. So I appreciate you being here, Juan. Thank you so much. I also I want to thank, well, where is it? Hold on one second. I'm trying to catch up here. Bruce Lee. Do you know Bruce Lee credit?
I've seen. Oh yeah, I've seen him. I've seen him.
So how do you turn a 15-month zero interest on purchases personal card with a 10K limit into a nice profit? What do I flip besides a burger on the grill?
So we're trying. So we've got 15 months, 0% on purchase, and I want to buy something, be able to sell it. You want to just turn it to cash because you can do. Because that's the question. If someone's going to ask me a question on Instagram, like that's the question I get. Like, how do I turn my credit limit into cash? Right? Like the answer for that is you're not really supposed to. So you got to be somewhat creative with it. It's probably around like funding CDs is the big one, because most bank accounts aren't going to let you fund the full credit limit, right? Like they're going to be like $1,000. Even in credit card funding is hard to find, but we know some places where you can fund CDs. And so if you're serious about it, hit me up. I can tell you if we put it out there to a bunch of them, it just gets ruined. But there are some places we can fund CDs, and then you can close the CD, and then you still have the money. You could do that. Now, as far as what do you do with the $10,000? I mean, I used to sell candy back in the day, man. Like I've sold I would go around school selling candy bars. Like that was a thing.
World's finest? Was it those world's finest bars?
No, it was. We had those probably when we were like middle school trips. I know exactly what you're talking about. But now it was like the track team, and like our coach had fundraisers. He realized no one would do the fundraiser, so he made the boxes of candy himself. And then if we sold a box, we'd keep $10. So then I took like his box, because it was like school approved, and my dad's Sam's Club membership, and I would go buy candy and put it in his box and then like sell it. It's definitely not school approved. So what can you do? How can you turn it? And I don't have like the grandiose business idea for you, honestly. You probably want to be careful with that. Because if we're talking about just a startup, just grabbing something and flipping it right away. If there's something out there about and you're sure of, like I wouldn't tell you to go just start flipping watches today, right? Or flipping sneakers today. But like if there's something about and you've been doing the research on, that could be an avenue. I'd be careful with it.
Bruce, hit him up, Bruce.
I don't think I'm helping you with your question. Like I can't come on here and tell you like, oh, just go, just full send. Like that's
I love it. I love it. But here, nobody's afraid. Juan says, degenerate. Love it. He's one of us. Yes.
Oh, for sure. Sign up for anything, man.
Craig wants to know, how many times has Check Systems denied you a bank account? Did you make 10,000 in 2023?
So funny enough, banks used to send adverse action letters, which is basically like a go away letter when like a consumer agency is used against you. Like the same thing we get for credit cards. We denied you. Here's why. They used to send a lot of those. They don't send them anymore. They just stop talking to you, right? It's like dating, really. Just phone never rings again. It's crazy. So I would assume many. I don't have a count for you, but I would assume many, especially small banks, credit unions, and regionals, because it looks dangerous, right? Like, one, why are you trying to fly out of state? Bank of Hawaii just shut me down a while back because I'm in Michigan. Why would you want to open an account? You're not even here. We're on an island, right? So
You're a friend
I
of
don't know.
Chase's. That's why you're a friend of Chase
Exactly.
Yokoyama. That's what.
Exactly. Like, I don't know. So I don't have an account, but yeah, it's annoying and a lot. So as far as 2023 totals, I can tell you if I'm allowed to look at source material. So 2023, I know I made 10 grand. So the final amount just for bank promotions in 23 was $12,417. 22 was 11,996. That $4 fall off really hurt because I was close to 12. And then 2021 was 11,535. That's the time I started tracking it seriously. So 21, 22, 23, and 24. So 24, if everything paid out today, I'd be at $8,815. But of course, there's lag on when it pays out. Most times you don't look at the final numbers until like partway through Q1 of the following year. But so we still have some work to do, but we're trying.
Yeah, but you're consistent, and I'm laughing at the fact that you have everything at your fingertips right there, bro. I have to look in boxes in the basement to find this year's records.
Well,
like, come
well,
on.
I figured it might come up, so I should probably have it open.
That is so cool.
I'm an obsessive person, right? So either I don't care about the thing and it might as well not even exist, or I care greatly and I will learn all there is to know about it, and that's all I will do. And I'm also really good at doing the same thing over and over and over again. So I'm not a fun person. My sport was distance. Look, like it was distance running on track, distance running cross country, swimming team, distance, martial arts from when I was like 6. And all you do is these same patterns, technique over and over and over again for over a decade. So I'm just really been built to do the same thing consistently. I don't know why.
Being consistent is a good thing. Let's just say that. All right. Think about it. As long as you're consistent and you're always at the top of your game, it's all good. And I think John has a great idea for some swag for you on an RJ shirt. I will do anything for a promo. I could see that selling like crazy right now.
Well, can you imagine wearing it to work? Where it could mean like promotion or something, and it's like
they'll send you to HR right away.
Exactly. It's like no, you don't understand.
Oh my God!
It's just how I can't stress enough like how impactful having the extra income is, right? Like, I do YouTube for the extra money. I do this for the extra money. And it goes a long way. It makes a huge difference just to have that little bit extra to help with whatever expenses that come up, or just even get to the next thing that you're going after.
I had this discussion today with Chad and Sledge, I believe, on the phone. It's true, especially for some, like right now, I'm retired, so I'm on a pension, right? I hate the term fixed income because you sound like you're 100. But the reality is, you can't, not like when you were working, that if something comes up, you could do the overtime, or so this for me is creating that cushion of whether it be paying off something that went wrong, like the water heater in Florida that I had to go repair a couple of months ago, or the AC last year in Florida that I had to put. So things like this do help tremendously, 100%. But it's a lot. It's a grind. I don't know how you put out you have 2 channels, a website. I don't know how the hell you do it. I would pull my hair, and my hairs fly, as you can see. For 57, it isn't bad, but not for nothing. That's hard. How the hell do you do it?
I mean, I kind of have it down to a system now. So like the weekend is kind of like during the week, we'll definitely answer comments, post things to the website, kind of like just kind of pay attention to what's going on. Saturday is going to become the day where like, okay, I'll go work out. I also get a haircut on Saturdays, trying to keep up with you. And then I'll come back.
You're doing a great job. I got to tell you, the line is always spot on.
Do what I can. To come home, breakfast, and then I sit down. I'm like, all right, I got to make 4 videos, right? I got to 2 for the main. 1 will be the Sunday show. 1 will be like a topic, for Thursday, and then like 2 bank promotions, right? Bank promotions aren't the hardest in the world to make because you can't put too much time in them because they're only going to be good for so long, right? But that's really it. Can I go into the week having set up everything that I need, having taped them, made them, and have them locked and loaded, right? That makes things a lot easier. I work on the main channel. I'm like 4 weeks in it. I got like 4 weeks worth of videos. So if
Oh, wow.
something did happen, like I'm good. That's why some stuff people you'll get a question like I have no idea what you're referencing because this was made so long ago. The second channel, you can't work that far ahead because it's burned me in the past because they'll pull the promotion offer early and you're like, well, great, now I have nothing. So that one's just a week ahead. But being ahead, having a process and having a set day, and that's why the schedule helps me. Like I know in the grand scheme, will people really care if it comes out on a Friday versus a Thursday? No, but I look at it like going to work. Like you wouldn't just like not show up on a day for work, right? So tell people I'm going to be there, then I'm going to be there. And then if you wanted it, great. And if it didn't matter to you, well, you can watch it tomorrow or the next day or never. I mean, it's kind of up to you, but that's kind of how I try to stay on top of it.
Thank God
It's,
bless you. That's oof. I don't know how you do it. I really do give you credit because it's not easy. I try to do at least 2 a week. And I tell people, and I laugh at myself. I don't have those 3D effects behind me like Brian Jung had, where like aliens were coming down, raining money and crypto on him. I don't do that. I Anthony was making fun of me actually because we were realizing I use my phone with Canva to pinch to zoom the overlays until he told me, bro, use an iPad is easier. That's it.
oh
Oh,
yeah, I
okay.
gotta do that.
Yeah. So then I did that. But I also love the fact, and I really want to give you props for this because I say this all the time. My biggest pet peeve in this space is people that don't give other people credit for the information. And you and I were talking about this earlier. You always say Dr. Credit said this, or whoever it was, wherever you got your information, Miles to Memories or whatever it is. You always preface it by saying where you got your info from when you have your videos on, especially on Sundays when I watch them. Why do you feel that that's important?
I mean, we're all kind of in the same space together, right? So, who really found it first, who reported what first is kind of up for debate all the time. But I think if someone's gonna, go through the effort to post it on their site when they've done a level of homework and fact checking, right? I mean, the least you can do is just kind of like, hey, thanks, I got it from these guys. Because it's, someone had the earlier question, like, are we like going to overtake the doctor's credit? Are you competing? I mean, it's in good fun, right? The question,
Right.
but no, like I don't know. I don't even think any of us are really like in a competition, right? Like you could do something friendly, like who gets the most views or clicks or something. But I think it's kind of like for the most part, like a decent enough community. We're not really trying to like steal from anyone, but at the same time, we're not gonna like not report on something because like you beat us to the story, right? Like ESPN and those guys don't work that way. Like they'll come out and say, hey, this was reported by NBC first. I think it's kind of just like out of respect of, we don't want to present it as like you're super connected and you found it yourself, right? I
I
guess
appreciate that.
is the
That's
thing.
how I feel. You put it well. Thank you. Because that's my issue. I mean, I don't think it's a race. And I see people that are, let's say, only post once a week. You're not going to be there every day chomping at the bit to say you did this, you did this, you did this. And I guess, when I see you post, you do, like you say, the summary of the week that was, whatever went on, that's what you're bringing. And your perspective is different than everybody else's. Your opinion is different than everybody else's. So that's what makes it unique and different. I just don't
That's
like,
funny.
the spitting and back and forth of stuff that you just picked up and read.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. The Sunday show started because I would try to like a new card would come out or something, right? And some were bigger than others, right? But I remember this one because it was like the custom cash, and like you feel, especially in the early game, like you feel like I got to get it out today, but that means I got to do it like after work, which probably means during work, but no one's well, I don't work there anymore, so it's fine. But then I felt like he'd be rushed and he'd be kind of like making mistakes. Like I definitely made some mistakes. We don't always have all the information in either because the card companies, for some reason, I don't know why card companies don't just send out press releases to people they know are going to talk about it. There's the same people they know are in the affiliate programs. Like I never get it, but that's besides the point. So kind of one, I've been rushing. It's this really life threatening? No, we can get it out on Sunday. And two, there, to your point, there's a lot of little things that happen, and like not to like I know it could sound a certain way, but like making a 2 or 3 minute video is simply not worth the time to get up, to take, to get it all set up to do it. But if you can put a few of those together, I think you got an interesting thing. And then people can skip around like whatever topics, they want, watch whatever they like. And then you got something to kind of look forward to. Plus, last thing is I forget how much people here watching us live are probably really dialed in. But then you've got a lot of people who are like on the fringes who are like, hey, I like cards. Sometimes I tune in. Sometimes I don't, whatever. Sunday is fine for those people to learn what happened. They're not dialed in like we are all the time, right? And I check those sites multiple times a day, like the doctor. It's like, do I need to post something to my site? Do I need to know what's going on, right? That kind of thing. So that's kind of how the Sunday came about. To your exact point of like, it's hard to be able to just do it midweek, and is it even worth it if you're just rushing it out and just repeating what the article said, right? If you can sit back and think about it, like, okay, now I have an opinion. And so if you don't have an opinion and you're a strong opinion, then someone's like, hey, now next story.
No, and I appreciate that. And I love when you do the Riddler segments monthly.
Oh, Q&A, yeah.
Yeah. Those are a blast. I have Tech Yoda here who's been asking me this, and he asked me about a week ago, and he said, yo, make sure you ask him this. So here it is. Okay. Best cashback card for a 1-card setup. And I guess he's saying Chase Amazon Prime Visa. What do you think?
So you're saying, and why is the Chase Amazon Prime?
Yeah, I don't know why it's kind of cut off there. I don't know.
I think the Amazon Prime Visa is like one of Chase's best cards. It's my most used Chase card. I think it's because Amazon sells everything, and most of us were paying for Prime membership long before. The card's been around for a while, right? But most of us are probably paying for a Prime membership before we knew about the card. So I do think the Amazon Prime card is a very strong card for folks who like Amazon, which is probably most of us. I know their customer service has gone down greatly. Like, we can't avoid that. I mean, back in the day, they sent you the wrong thing, they would they would make it right immediately. And now, even with some of their money saving stuff on like the ship return options, I'm like, yeah, this is actually way more inconvenient, guys. But Amazon card is definitely up there. The problem is like the best cash back. Then you've kind of got to, then it becomes like figuring out how you best fit in, right? Because you could still make the argument for something like the Wells Fargo autograph if those are some of your top categories, because you got a lot of 3% back on everything else. So then you kind of got to look at it. But if you just wanted one at 5%, I think the Amazon card is pretty good for that.
And so what made you, I know you have the goal of to make a certain amount every year, right? In the cash back or from bank bonuses. What made you pivot to that side as opposed to like what most other people do with points and miles? When people say that's more lucrative, let's say you get more bang for your buck. What's your take on that?
So I went through. So it's funny because we can really get into this. So,
and I want to. That's what you're here. You're on.
So there was a time when, so if you go through school and you go through and you get the whole MBA thing, right? And I just went to Eastern Michigan, right? It's like a directional school, not a big deal, but still got it done, right? But you go through the MBA thing, you kind of feel like you're an MBA. I should be a consultant. People should pay me for my opinion. But you know what no one ever cares about? The opinion of a 20-something-year-old, right? Because I went straight through. I didn't leave and go to work and come back. And I had some nice people, in my life. A guy named Mike Watts is sadly passed away. But when I worked in MB Financial, he was all about it. He was in his 70s. He was like, yeah, man, you got to go be a consultant. You got to travel, this, that, and the other. So in my mind, I actually pulled I actually pulled a list of like the top 50, top 75 consulting companies in the country and just started applying to all of them. I had no chance, but I tried. So anyhow, like I convinced myself like I wanted that. You ever seen like Up in the Air where like George Clooney flies around? Yes, right. Well, I kind of convinced myself like that's what I should be doing. I should be traveling, and I did like going places and seeing. I thought it was fun, so I did get the platinum card, and I got the gold because that was the king of the cards. I had the Sapphire Reserve as well, and I hung in there for a little bit. Because I thought it was so cool to be able to go to the Sky Club, because DTW, my home airport, Detroit Metro, you walk past security, then you can see the Sky Club right up there, and you're like, what is that? And then I just kind of over time, when they raised the fee you know, I was already borderline, like, I don't know if this is really worth it, but like, okay, fine. I can still tell people I got Marriott Gold and like they were still doing breakfast and on and on and on. So there was that phase of it. But I was always like fringe, like even though I was going maybe 6 to 10 places a year, like, is it actually worth it? And then the more I looked at it and more looked around, it was like I just wasn't how I travel and spend money wasn't aligning with what the cards were really about. So I would use the Chase Travel Portal, for example, but you can either, you know, look at it as I'm going to use a bunch of points, stay at a nice place, Ritz Carlton, what have you, or I'm going to use as little points as possible. But that means instead of 6 short trips, like I like to do like Friday, Saturday, come back Sunday type deals, instead of like 6, I can stretch to 7 or 8 because I conserved my points. And so if you're conserving your points, which is fine, but it means you're not going to be anywhere where getting an upgrade matters, right? There's no upgrades in the places that I stay. So what is this goal? Back then when gold mattered a little bit more, you know, these free night certificates, you know, you're still staying at a low end Marriott. So yeah, you paid $95 up front, but you got maybe $125 in value on the certificate. Is that really worth it? So those two things just didn't go together, right? And it just didn't work. And then you add on top of it the coupons. Like coupons make me physically angry and upset to have to do it, right? Like it does. It would just ruin my entire day to be like, okay, now I got to go into Uber and I got to spend 12, 15 minutes playing around with this order to get it as close to $15 as possible. Pass all these restaurants to go get food. Like it just make me angry. And I was like, you know, this isn't working, right? I gotta let it go. And the last part I'll say is I did think about keeping the platinum because you can make the argument, well, we talk about these things, we should have the card. But then I felt that would be like super hypocritical to be like, this card sucks, but I'm gonna keep it because I do this for a job. I was like, I gotta get rid of it. So I got rid of them.
Wow. Now, which kind of alludes to this is pretty funny. DJ Bruce Wayne asked, but DJ Bruce Wayne, I want to let you know, last week he mentioned, I believe it was last week, that his wife is Venezuelan and he just wanted us to send her good thoughts to her country out there. And yes, we're still doing that, DJ Bruce Wayne. I pray that things are better, puppy. Didn't forget. He asked if there's only 3 cards, if you can only keep 3 cards and cancel the rest, which 3 would you choose and why?
I think the Amazon card is on the list. We kind of just hit it. So I won't spend too much time there. I use Amazon for a lot. The others, I'm torn between a custom cash or my Bank of America card. If I can keep my preferred rewards, then I think I'm going Bank of America. The 2.6 on everything, and then probably one of the customized cash cards. I think that would be it. It's hard to pass up on some of the category cards. An honorable mention would be the AAA Daily Advantage because again, it's a sleeper card that gives you 5x back on groceries up to like 10,000 in spend. But I go Amazon. I can keep my preferred rewards. I'll go the 2.6 on everything. Because at that point, the difference between 2.6 and 3 isn't so much, where a lot of cards have 3 that it's going to bug you, right? So that's decent enough.
Now,
and then,
I'm shocked you didn't say Wells.
They denied me for everything. I only have an autograph card. They didn't give me anything. You did want to talk about Wells Fargo. Let's talk about Wells Fargo. Let's do it.
No, but you're the reason why I got Wells. And I'm surprised that I thought you had the autograph. Oh, was that the one that clipped you?
No, I have the regular autograph card.
Right, that's the one I have. The regular autograph, I think, is fire.
It's a good card. It's a great card.
But it didn't make your top 3.
Well, it's about like where do you spend the most at, right? So I could have the autograph card is like 3 back on a lot of things, or I could get 2.6 back on everything. So it's like, is that 0.4 enough? Now, if you said no, Platinum Planners is cheating, which people have said that in the past, I'm like, that's fair because preferred rewards has become my I went to the Maldives thing, right? Like I understand, like I'm annoying with it. I get it. I hear me. But no, the autograph card is great. Like that was, I mean, Wells Fargo doesn't get enough credit for it because it was basically just to propel again, and we were kind of like, well, why did you kill it just to bring it back a year later, right? That's why that card doesn't get enough credit. But no, the autograph card is an amazing card. Wells Fargo in a whole has amazing cards now. I'm going to be on the island saying this, and it's fine. If they were blue, you would lose your mind, right? But because it's Wells Fargo, you're like, man, not you personally, but just like the world is like,
you're
whatever.
100% right. You are 100% right. It doesn't have like the cachet, like it doesn't have that whatever, that people are like, oh, I got a Wells card. Meanwhile, it is amazing in terms of what they offer you. Yeah, the transfer partners are lacking, but they're supposed to be fixing that. But all right, so we see your three.
But
now.
If you look at it, like, when did Chase really become Chase, though, right? I forget when the original Freedom came out, right? But it was like 2010, 12, something like that, maybe. But that's all they had. They started with one thing and like, okay, a category card. It wasn't original because I think the city had the dividend card, which was kind of the same thing, but fine. The Freedom Unlimited, I don't think came out to like 2015 or 2016. Like, I remember when that came out because that was right around the Sapphire Reserve time. So there wasn't even a trifecta fully assembled until, let's say, 2016, right? I think they had a Sapphire card, but it wasn't what it is now, right? It's kind of weak. And then the Freedom Flex didn't come out till 2020. And that's probably that card was like, okay, this card is knighted, right? You get a lot on the Freedom Flex and the refresh of the Freedom Unlimited. The point is, we're looking at Wells Fargo and we're seeing something in the making. And I think we look at them and we're like, we want them to be at the finish line already. But that's just not going to happen. And it didn't happen for Chase. You can make the argument Chase really didn't end up solidified until 2020, maybe. 2019. I mean, if you look at it,
it's a good point.
If you think about it, like the transfer partners, like who's really left, right? Delta, we now know, is not leaving American Express with all the billions they make on cards. Hilton and Marriott are spoken for. People love Hyatt, which Chase has. United's a big one. American just wants to be aloof and never marry anyone, which is fine. Okay, those are our major chains. Who's left? So, like, who is Wells Fargo supposed to get that's free agent that's going to make you happy? So right. I look at Wells Fargo as like, that's the travel card company for me, who's like, hey, the Journey is a banger of a card. The credit is super easy to use. And for $50, you get some good multipliers after you spend through the credit. And you get most of the insurances that you would want. Sure, Sapphire preferred a little bit better on the insurances. But that's the travel card for me, which is fine. And I don't think I'm alone in it. I don't think everyone wants to deal with the credits and the stuff like that. And I don't think that should be underrated. I'm just going to keep going on this rant, so I'll stop. But
no, I love it. I freaking love it. That's what this is all. Look, I appreciate that because it has to be said, Coño. It just has to. Now, I want to shout out to your boy Anthony Venture here.
Oh, yeah. He had a great video about the Amex Gold card the other day.
No, he was up to the crack ass doing video.
I didn't know he was that jacked either.
Yo, when I met Anthony, bro, let me just tell you, I was fangirling a little bit because that shirt was fitted. He was buffed. I'm just saying. I'm going to leave it right there. But Anthony was cute, and his calves were strong. He had a strong calf game. I can tell you that. Daytona, the girls are checking him out.
Let me ask you this, or I think it'd be good off of the Wells Fargo topic. When you look at a card, how do you review it, or how do you try to present it to the audience, right? And I ask because I think that's one of the things that we forget, and sometimes people on camera forget, is like, it's too easy. Sometimes we forget everything is not made for us, right? And like a Wells Fargo conversation is a good example. So like, how do you try to look at something objectively and like, it's not for me, but who might it be for?
Well, I'm glad you put it that way because that's how I approach it. I only review cards that I have. I have 25 of them right now. Capital One, I don't have any because they won't give me a card. So it is what it is, but I actually opened up the Wells Autograph and the City Strata Premier to get into that ecosystem to see what they're like. So when I do these reviews and whatever, I show people and how I put them into practice. I just don't use them for what they're promoted as or whatever. I use them every day, real life, if it works for me, kind of a deal. So, for instance, I cut up the gold card in February because I no longer was using the supermarket side of it because my son no longer lives here. They don't take it at Costco, they don't take it at Target. So I'm losing half of what that card strength is, right? So why pay back then 250, now 325 for something that I'm only using half of? So I got rid of it. So I tell people, and I'm very honest, and everybody here that could tell, like, I'll say, look, it doesn't work for me, but it doesn't mean it's not going to work for you. Because if you have 4 kids at home, like we have Xavier here, who literally Xavier says he'll fly at the back of the plane because he has his kids, but he's willing to spend more on the hotel for the experience, right? So those are things that you keep in the back of your mind. So for him, a card like the Amex Gold for supermarkets is huge, right? So there's certain things that I tell people, look, if your spend is this, then these are the better cards. Last week I put a video on if Amex didn't, because Chad brought it up like a what if. So I took off the platinum, the gold, and the green, and what could replace them. So the platinum was kind of easy with the CSR. The gold, believe it or not, you have the multipliers with the Strata Premier because you get 3 times on dining, 3 times on supermarkets, plus a lot of other travel benefits. And then the green card was the Wells Autograph card at nothing a year. So if you eliminate the Amex fees, you're ahead of the game $1,000-something to begin with, and you could kind of almost replace them, except for lounge access. You see what I'm saying? So I tell people this is why I want and applied for the card. Now, do I apply for cards that I don't need? Yes, I do it for this channel. People don't believe it, but you know it because you do it. We apply for crap because we need to talk about something, right? It can't be Amex every day, all day.
Sure.
How pretty the Amex will. So now that we talked about Amex for a hot sec, because I'm like, squirrel, I got the Amex Gold Business, right?
Oh, yeah,
1989.
too, yeah.
I just got the white one, and I canceled them the moment it hit the mailbox because the fee was from where I got it last year, $295, is $375 now. I don't use it. So what's the point? Some pretty card, but bye-bye. So I try to be honest and upfront, and I will only mention cards that I don't have if I'm comparing it to something else or if something hits the news, like we said, that's coming, So like I was able to go to the banks and they told me when the City Strata was going to drop because the guy had an insight on it. And he mentioned the Elite coming. It was supposed to be now in the summer, and they're pushing it back to later fall, early winter because the Strata Premier is doing better than what they thought, which I thought was cool that he told me that, So those are the things that I discuss and go over. But you had, and I can't let this go by, RJ. I'm sorry. Filmo, how you doing? Juan, again, thank you for everything. You need to do a WEPA if you don't mind.
What is this?
You don't know what WEPA is?
Should I know what this is?
Wow, guys, I'm hurt, guys. You hearing this? He doesn't know what this is.
I mean, I did ask you for an agenda from front.
So the agenda is a WEPA.
I could have known.
I know. Well, I do this on purpose to everybody. So here's the thing. Being Puerto Rican or Latino, WEPA is a good thing. So if you go WEPA, that means it's great. It's fantastic. It has to come from your gut. Like it's like a chant. It's like literally on my sign, it says WEPA. Hola mi gente, WEPA, right? So that's just so everybody here gives every guest I get a score up to 10 points. Now, Stan did a good WEPA. Chase did a good WEPA. Chad's Money Minute did a WEPA in the hotel room with me and actually kicked his legs up in the air. Jacob's Points and Profit did it last week. He was diesel. Some of the more sad and depressing ones were people like CJ, even though he says that he was the greatest, it was a little lacking. I mean, you people could disagree if you want, but So are you willing to do it? I could do one first and you could see what I'm talking about. And then you could
Sure,
do it if
go
you
for it.
choose.
'Cause I feel like if nothing else, I should be standing up for this. I feel like sitting down is kind of gonna be tough. But
No,
sure,
I
go
could do
for
it
it.
sitting down. Okay, guys.
Okay, you're gonna sit it down. Okay, I'll
I
stay
sit.
sitting
Yeah, no,
down. If
because
that's the
again,
issue.
I'm
Okay,
Puerto Rican.
okay.
This is like from childhood. All right. So, guys, here's what we're gonna do. I want the guys, everybody here, Robert J, Bruce Lee, M2K, ready. Wepa time. Like Anthony said, Wepa time. Filmo. All right. 1, 2, 3. Wepa! And that was a short version for you.
I'm glad you did that because I gave the emphasis. Now it reminds me of the BitConnect guy. You know the guy with he's always the yeah.
So they're gonna hold you. You have like these guys, like in the Olympics, they give you tough scores here. They're going to, even young Kevin here, they're gonna be tough for the vote. All right. I'm telling
All right,
you.
we gotta open up the lungs, man. We gotta.
Oh, wait, look at this. Bruce Lee has faith in you. RJ is a solid 10 without even hearing it first. Wow. All right. Let's do this, RJ. I'm going to count you in. You can stand if you want.
No, you did it sitting down. I'm gonna sit down. I'll follow the rules. Follow the rules.
All right. 1, 2. Now, you got that big brolic chest. You're a big dude, bro. You could do this, RJ. I have faith, coño. 1, 2, 3.
Did I get it? It was good.
You did.
Blow out the microphone?
You know what happened? Your mic bent on you. So we couldn't.
Did?
Yeah. So we lost it, but I knew you were doing it. It was.
I do. You want to do it again?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Look at it. The first 2-timer. Yo.
It's funny because we talked about hating holding this thing, and now I'm holding it.
And now you got to hold it.
We talked about this before, and now I'm holding it. I'm that guy now. Okay.
1, 2, 3. Wow, bro. Yo, you did excellent. They even said you broke the mic. You got a 10.
Hey, man. So all that you go through all that running, you got to have decent lungs. I guess what I'm chalking it up to.
Anthony said your lungs are jacked and you broke the world. Damn, you need a wepa mic, they're saying. Look at this, solid 10. Broke the mic.
That was probably peaking. I probably could have put the cover things on it now that I think about it, but it's okay.
Papa, look at this. Yo, even Juan Garcia, whoa, even the mic keeled over. Nice job. Oh, man. And young Kevin gave you a 9.5 out of 10. Oh, no, he said joking, 10 out of 10.
Oh, look at that.
Bro, you're the first one that's getting like multiple 10s here.
I'm officially retiring then. I'm retired.
Yo, let me tell you, you're officially Stealth Lady C. Great lung capacity. All right.
Hey, man, we're running like 6 miles a day. Saturdays are 10, so I'd hope we get something good out of it.
Well, look, Garrett in Hawaii. Heard it in Hawaii. Look at that.
Go yell it at Bank of Hawaii for me while you're down.
Tariq says, run on the wepa.
There you go.
Thank you. You know what, RJ? I appreciate that. You did it twice, and nobody wants to even do it once. But like they just said, drop that mic. Thank you, Detroit. Damn.
We don't take ourselves too seriously over here, man. If that's the custom on the show, we do the custom of the show. You wore the black shirt, I can do it.
I appreciate. You know what's another custom? And I'm sure you get this. They asked me for it. Ekster wallet, Barretto Brown, because it goes with my panels. My Ekster wallet that holds my American Express Platinum card, which we agreed when I first got on with you today, is older than you. 1989. All right. Oh, God. But this is the card, and we spoke about it earlier. Why do you keep it?
I'll like keep the card that's like the deactivated card.
Well, do you keep? Did you deactivate it, or are you still using the platinum? Do you use it
So
at all?
I have the business platinum until January, right? I got it this January for like the 200K offer. So I've got one. I don't have my wallet that I carry on me, but I do have my people love this. I've got this.
Yo, where'd you get that? Can you tell me where you got
I was
that?
at Amazon. I can drop you the link. There's somewhere under the videos. There's like a bunch of Amazon affiliate links, but this is like an Amazon like $15-$20 deal.
I like that. That's a nice because you see them. Okay.
Yeah, so these are the cards I keep that I'm using, and I'll rotate out of them. But no, I do have the business platinum there, so I will have it through this year, and then I'll get rid of it. I keep the cards. Like I got the business gold too because I have the business gold. I got it in November, so I keep it, and then I'll cancel it. But I always thought I keep the debit cards. I always thought I'd do something with the debit cards, like make a thing out of them, maybe. So I've got like, I don't know, well over, I'm probably 200 something.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I kept them from like the first year on. I think I destroyed a few of them. I was like, I'm going to keep them. I thought I'd do something cool with them. I haven't done anything with them yet. But I do have all of them still.
Well, I'll share this. The guys remember when I did, let me try to pull this out here. So back in February, I told you I canceled the American Express Gold, and I actually went to Lowe's to buy a set of shears because this is a metal card. So this was my American
Oh,
Express.
yeah.
I cut it. It was hard to cut. But then I also cut my wife's card the day before Valentine's Day, her gold card. So I keep it here just because, but hers is nicely cut as well. And she'll never let me live it down because it was the day before Valentine's Day. But, you know, you have, I can't believe how many cards you have. Lord God.
Well, these are just the ones I use, right? The platinum's in here because I'd use the cell phone credit once a month. But I've got other cards that, I just haven't closed yet. I just keep them in the same thing as the debit cards. But no, these are the ones I rotate through. I only carry like 3 cards with me. It's usually like the Bank of America card and like 2 custom caches, one for gas, one for food. But I'll go through here and like rotate which ones I want and which ones I need. It makes it easier. Just grab them at a glance.
That's so freaking cool. God bless you. Look, somebody just said, RJ, I got the same wallet from your link. There you go.
Oh, perfect. Thanks. I have no idea what I get from using the links. I know I get something, so I appreciate it. Every few months, I get a random check for like $12 from Amazon. So it's appreciated.
No, that's cool. And guys, before I forget, hit that like and subscribe. RJ's channel is, I'm going to put it up right. Oh, there it goes. John, thank you as well for putting it up. You guys, we always have a blast here on Tuesday, so I thank you for that. But hit that like and subscribe. Again, thank you for those of you that came in later. We got to 4,000. Thank you so much. The goal is much more than that. We're going to keep grinding. But I have another comment here just for you, RJ, which is RJ Would Flatten Me by Anthony Venture. I don't know. I don't know. Those are fighting words. I don't know. But right now, you're officially Boricua. So the little flag there, DJ Bruce Wayne, I'm telling you, RJ, yours was great. I got to give it to you.
Hey man, I appreciate it. It's funny because I was like, the project manager in me is like, yeah, what's the agenda? And you're like, we'll just chop it up about stuff. I was like, okay. And then you're like, hey, there's this thing we all do. I was like, boy.
But that's why we do it. It's laid back. You see my style. It's laid back. The people still get a heck of a lot of information. They laugh at because it's a theme. They know with the Barretto Brown wallet. So Emmanuel from Ekster is like, bro, really? Barretto Brown? I go, yeah, because it matches the freaking panels in my basement. So we do these. We do giveaways on the channel as well. Some people here have won, multiple times with me, Sledge, Chad, Anthony, when we all do them. But, it's just kind of like it's become routine and just part of the feel of a Tuesday night when we do this. But I had a question here for you, going back to something that's serious, believe it or not. Hold on, where is it? Okay. From Kevin, what credit card are you using in the third quarter?
I mean, like just one card, or is the
No,
cards
give
that
him,
I
give him.
have?
I saw what you said you're using this quarter, but tell him.
So I'm using the Discover card is going to be groceries because I'm trying to max that because I just got it this year. So you know the deal where you can, if you apply at the right time, you can get like 5 quarters of cash back match.
Yep.
So like that's primary. So I'm using that one. I don't have any intro offers going right now. I did just finish one on a Citizens card. So then for a Freedom card, one of my 4 is for gas because I realized I hadn't actually used the Freedom card in forever, so I should just keep that active. Custom cash. So one custom cash is on the bench. The other custom cash is for food. I don't really eat out much, but just in case. Bank of America is always catch-all. I have used, those are like in the wallet. Then like I have used my Susan G. Komen card for booking the New Orleans deal. I also did a Chicago run last month. It wasn't like noteworthy enough to make videos on, but that was travel. The red customized cash card is generally online shopping. I know I've bought a thing or two here or there. Prime card, of course. Chase Ink Cash is, I just paid my cell phone and internet with it earlier this month. I think that's it. Those are my main ones that I've
RJ,
been
why did you
using.
pick the Chase Amazon one as opposed to Amex?
Oh, just to stay on character and be anti-American Express.
Okay.
No, I think I think it was, I think the off I got it last year when like they had to just sign up and they gave you what, $200 just for
Yeah.
signing up, and like the business one, I don't know what the offer was over there, but it wasn't like $200. I just wanted the Chase one.
I got the Amazon Business Prime last Prime Day, and they gave me 200. That's the only reason why I got the Amex one. But
Oh, they were doing 200 over there. Okay.
it's a beast of a card. You're right. I mean,
Yeah, it's great.
you set it and forget it, and then every once in a while, I think the only time I swap it out is whenever I get literally those emails from Danny the Deal that says there's an Amazon thing. If you use one Amex point and you get
Oh yeah.
40% off, then I switch it up for that. But other than that, that's just set it and forget it.
No, it's great. It's underrated. I mean, again, if you like Amazon, which I always think you can justify one of the services, like you're gonna do Target service, Walmart. We get to the point where everyone wants a service. Amazon was first. That's the one I went with. So like it's good enough. Like they have most things I need. I don't mind going to the grocery store. I always pass one. So it's like I'm not gonna get them. It's just me. So like groceries don't take me that but like 20 minutes, right? So it's not crazy. So but yeah, normally it'd be the AAA Daily Advantage, but since groceries is Discover, I swap that out. So
now the AAA Daily, that's the one that AAA has 2 versions of a card that are very similar, except for one thing that's a little different, right?
So technically they have
both of them.
So technically they have 3. 2 of them are very similar. There's one issued by like U.S. Bank. That one's not very good. These were issued by Comedy. Now they're with Bread Financial. And so there's the Daily Advantage and like there's a Daily Travel Advantage. And the Daily Advantage, people get it because it's 5% back on groceries up to like $10,000 a year. There's more in there, but primarily you just focus on the 5X. Then the other one is 5% back on things like gas and EV charging up to like $750 a year. I don't think you can have both of them. I think you can only have one.
That's what I heard. I wasn't sure. And that's a card I want to get because I heard it's just that good. I mean, I have AAA no matter what. And I know you don't need AAA in order to get it, right?
No, I don't have AAA. I have like Progressive or something. There's a while where it was like you had to like input a specific zip code to get it, but they didn't check. Like I think Adam from Proud Money had that. He was like, yeah, just put in a New York zip code and then like it takes you there, which won't be a problem for you. But yeah, no, that's great. I mean, it was like $100 sign up offer, but now it's a keeper card. So it's one of those cards that just isn't talked about enough. Of course, I mean, if your travel is not really going to help you, but like cash back lands, like some of these cards, we actually act like they don't even exist.
And I'm glad you brought that up. Why? So my weakness, we said early when we started, is that part. I always thought cashback was just where you'll pay your statement credit, and that's it, right? But you actually have put it down to where you make money off of the cash back, not just from bank bonuses, but from credit card sign up bonuses. How difficult is it for people that don't know what that is right now? How difficult is it to do that?
I mean, it's kind of like a how much do you want to care type thing, right? Is it difficult? No, because I mean, you're talking about just getting a new card and swiping it at the correct place, right? Um, how many cards do you think is too many to manage, right? I guess that's kind of like that's the biggest turnoff I think for people. It's like this is like a lot of cards to manage. But again, like I'm not using most of these 4, 5 of these are freedom cards, right? I'm not really using those. One of this is my actual business card. And I've done over time, I've gotten to a point where, to your point of the Amazon, a lot of this is set it and forget it. So I know what goes where. It takes a lot of guesswork out of it. And so that's usually the pushback, like, wow, that's a lot to manage. But you hear that on both sides of it. You hear that on travel too. Like, I don't want a ton of cards, right? I just want to manage for you. And there are things you can do, like, you can request new payment dates to line them all up on a certain day. You can set up auto payments. I have tape on the back of my custom cash card so I remember which one goes where. Like, these are still things that I do.
Okay.
But again, I think it's just outweighed by again, for me, $5,000 is materially different in my year. And if I go through my year as an average person, like all of us are average people, I would assume, yeah, most of that money gets eaten up and just things going wrong. The same things that go wrong in all of our lives just keep going wrong. But wouldn't it be great if you had a $5,000 buffer for that wasn't your income? Or if nothing goes wrong, like, wouldn't that be great if like that could just fund your IRA contribution next year? Something like that. There's like a bunch of different ways to look at it. And when you break it down to it, like, sure, it might seem like a lot of work, but is it really that much work given what you could get from it? And on the aggregate, when you add it all up at the end of the year, I don't think it is. That's why I do think those end of the year videos are important. And that's why I think videos like you were talking about, like, how do I actually use this card or this strategy, are important. Mine aren't super fancy. I understand that. But I actually use this to pay for this thing, right? To get a new HVAC unit. I got this card and it does help. And at the end of the year, it will make a difference. Those videos aren't super popular, but they are super real and they're super relatable, which I think is helpful for people to see. Like, no, it does make a difference.
Now, what would you do with, let's say you had 200,000 MR points sitting there? Would you cash them out if you had the Charles Schwab version, let's say, where you would get at least a 1.1?
Oh, for me, yeah, if I had the Schwab, yeah, I'm just to be a troll. I'm going to like do a video at the end of the year where for fun, where I cash out my points to my business platinum, to my business checking account for like one set of points. I think I have like 400,000 membership reward points too. I'm going to title it Troll Post just to make people mad, but it'll be fun. It's in good fun. But yeah, if I had the Schwab, I would do that. Because it's like, it goes back to the original, like the travel premise of like, okay, but like, how are you traveling, right? And the argument I think for cash works if you take flights. Like, I could ship them to Delta for 1.2 cents. I'm going Delta, right? I know Luke is fantastic at like finding all these crazy airlines and these moves and stuff like that. I don't know those, right? I just want to go to Delta because I know it works, right? And I know where it's at. But if you're doing something like that, then I think it makes sense. But for Delta, I could also just as easily go to the grocery store with one of these freedoms and buy Delta gift cards at 5% back and just how is that different? Like, how is that? Like, I'm getting 5% one way or the other, either on a crazy redemption on the back end or the front end. Like, what's the difference?
See, I'm glad you put it this way, because I cashed out 275,000 UR points from Chase to get $2,750 for a deposit for my car, from my Tesla, right?
Sure.
Now, those were referral points, literally, from just people using my links and getting referrals. I didn't do anything for that. Some people thought that was a poor redemption because it's so many points. But my thing is, I didn't have to get $227.50 out of my bank.
Yes.
Would you have done that?
I think the best redemption. So there are objectively bad redemptions. Yes, like that is true. Like, going through the travel portal sometimes is objectively bad, but I think we all forget like points have no value until redeemed, though, is kind of the thing, right? So there's valueless currency and you turned it into something valuable for you. And if I think that is valid, it's still like what, 1 cent per point. You didn't have to work terribly hard for. I mean, it's great that people come out and support, and you were able to get the links. But I think there's value as a person with a family being like, I got a down payment for this car and like I didn't have to come out of pocket for it. Like I think that is valuable. It's not sexy. Like, it's not going to be a great video title. It's not an overwater villa. Like, I'll give you all of those things, but it's like I'm a grown man with a wife and kids sex. If like, yeah, great.
Yeah, it's not the Maldives. I get it.
But there's value in that. Like, I just think we forget. I'm fine with people posting those videos, and I watch those. I watch Sebi and Mandy's travel channel. I think those places are cool. And objectively, if you put like a terrible Marriott or where they were staying, I would 100% pick that place. But then it becomes down to like, is it worth it to you? And I've always been I do think you can, like, not to take this in like a philosophical way, but like I do think you can accomplish most of what you want to do in life if you stay hyper focused on what you want to accomplish. So I don't think I'm going to travel like that, but I will be able to do these other things that I want to do. Maybe it's just wearing watches, right? Like, you can't do both. Some people can. Like, I can't do both. You gotta pick, like, which one did you want to do? And then maybe later in life I do end up doing travel stuff once I feel like, I've accomplished what I wanted to. Namely, right now, like, this will take us down a whole nother path, but like my goal is like, how fast can I pay off a house, right? Like, that's a goal. So you can't be doing overwater villas if you want to do this. So points help,
Wow. I love the way you put that. There is some sort of sacrifice when you want to have that hyper focus and, because, I want to get here, but I can't deviate and do that right now. It's right now. It's not later on. You might do it later,
Yeah.
but I see people that are afraid to pull the trigger on it. And I'm just like, look, having these points and whatever in an account and I have a ton right now because I just haven't had the chance to use them yet. But like, I have almost 800,000 MR points, 700,000 UR points. And if I total from all the other co-branded crap, I'm over 2 million points again for stuff. But, at first I was scared of using them. Now, like when we go to NOLA, I didn't pay for the Hyatt that I'm staying at, and I didn't pay for the flights. Those were points. I just used them. And I saw your video where you said you still hadn't booked your room yet.
I did. I booked it now, but yeah.
You did? Okay.
I did now. Yeah, I did. I did.
So I know what my strengths and weaknesses are. My weaknesses are the redemptions and whatever. And I'll never be that guy that could say I got 10 points, 10 cents per point on a flight. Because I'm not going to go through those hoops. I'm just not. I'm too old for that. Like, I want my time. I don't need, to spend 2 days to save whatever points that I didn't even really work for or get up in the morning at the crack ass of dawn for.
Oh,
literally.
I agree.
I went and used the card.
Flying when you need to fly is like, because I'm going down to New Orleans like Saturday morning because I didn't want to really take the day off from work on Friday. I was like, and yeah, I'm picking a flight. I picked one because, I was like, you know what? I don't want to connecting. If I go through Atlanta, I almost always miss my flight. I'm just not doing it. I'll pay more to not have to deal with that. Don't care. And yeah, it's a lot of it. If someone really enjoys finding the best deals, that's totally fine. That's no different than me sitting there like, I want to open all these bank accounts. If you're into that, by all means. But like I'm not into that to that degree of finding the best flights and things like that. I think convenient. I like convenience. I will pay for convenience. And I think it's what's valuable to you, right? Is the thing, right? And we're all, the thing about watching people on internet is we're all kind of in different places in life, right? Like we use Sebi and those guys. I think they're very open, so I'm not even making fun of them. They're like 2 people, no kids, work for themselves. From what I can tell, they can go to a random flight on a Tuesday. Could I? Sure, but I don't really want to take the time off from work when I could just go on Saturday. Sure, I pay a little bit more, but it's just easier, to do it that way. And as we kind of forget, everyone's kind of in a little bit different of a place. And I think I wouldn't sleep on redeeming things for cash. Like, not paying for stuff is amazing, right? Like, it just is. So you tell me you got 400,000 ultimate reward points. You know, I mean, if there's no immediate need to cash them out, then like, no, I think you're fine to hang on to them. But like, if something came up and you're like, you know, this would just be great to not have to spend $4,000. Like, I look at it as a tool, right? Of like, you know, it's more like, it's like money. Like, it's just for medium of exchange.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because you mentioned work and you're going Saturday. So I'm going to New Orleans. I'll be there Thursday. So I'm going with my wife, and we were planning on coming back Monday for on Labor Day. But the tickets one way was $600 from New Orleans back to Newark. However, if I waited till Tuesday, it was $150 and I had the points for it that I didn't have to pay. So I had a Hyatt certificate that I could use. So I added it to the 4 nights that I got from points, and I used the 5th night for certificate. And it was cheaper that way. Like I said, I'm retired. My wife was able to change her day of work, and we saved a ton of money and time and no stress. Because the chaos at the airport on Labor Day is madness, especially coming into Newark. It's like Atlanta, not as bad, but it's up there, you know? So, you know, those are the things that I want. And somebody here put a comment, and I'm glad. Zach, thank you for being here. The collaboration that people needed. I appreciate that. You know, we need people to understand, yeah, you're going to have crappy redemptions sometimes or whatever, or maybe you didn't make the wisest choice in doing something. And we all make those mistakes. Fair enough. But at the same time, if it makes your life easier, you're able to enjoy yourself, you don't have to hit your pocket up for it. Why not?
I agree. What if you just really wanted to go? Like, what if it's a bad redemption, but yet you have the points and you really just wanted to go? Like, are those points now worth more sitting in your account, not being used, but you're also not going, right? Like, that's like, they're just points, man. And like, I get it. Like, I'm not saying I've never like not wanted to redeem stuff and I love to watch the balances grow. I definitely have. That's part of the reason why I force myself to cash out at the end of the year now, because it's, you know, it's actual money. And even the points, yeah, I mean, plus again, like everyone's in a different spot, you know. So if this is the thing that gets you where you want to go, what are you going to remember? You're going to remember you had great redemption, or you got there and you saw the thing, right? And I think that it counts for a lot.
So do you cash out your points every end, like the end of December? If they're in a pot somewhere, you automatically, if you haven't used them, you cash them out, and then you
So now
start at zero again?
Now that I'm cash, the only time I use them during the year is if the redemption is going to be hard later, right? So US Bank is a good example. Like US Bank, you got to have a US Bank credit card to redeem cash, right? You have a US Bank checking account, and I don't have one currently. I hope to very soon when they bring back the $600 offer. But until they do, I don't have one. So I will cash those out for a statement credit and then like burn the rest on like Amazon shopping or something and just make note of what I earned. But if it's a card like Citi and Chase where I can keep them and cash out any amount I want, then I let them sit till the end of the year and then I cash them all out.
So you do cash them out that way at the end of the year, no matter what. So do you reset to zero in January?
January 1st, what you did last year no longer counts. We got to climb. We have to summit the mountain again.
Wow. I'm glad. I don't know if anybody here knew that or does that. I didn't think of it that way. So you reset to zero every year and start the climb.
Oh yeah. Going into January, I will know what I want to hear. I'll just to tell you how bad it is.
Wow.
January 2024. New Year's Day. Bank accounts: Wells Fargo Personal, Huntington Personal, PNC Personal. January 2nd, Fifth Third Personal, Fidelity Bloom, Citizens on the 3rd. I'll know what I want to hit based on like eligibility. It might be cheating a little bit to be like, I could open this in December, or I could just wait to January. You could hit me for that, but I will have a plan, and I'll know I need to hit it hard and what I want to start opening. I'll open them January 1st, and that counts towards the total. My rule with jobs has been I'll do it until it's no longer fun anymore, and then it's time to find a new job. So I'm still having fun with it. And so I like the planning, like, how am I going to get to 10 grand? I don't know, because we don't know what offers we're going to see, right? So I will, reset it at the beginning of every year. We got to start the climb again.
Wow. So with your banks, with the bank accounts, when you get these offers, do you shut down some accounts after a while and then try to reopen them a year later or two later?
Yes. Every account. I have my keeper accounts like Chase. For whatever reason, I have a Chase. I don't recommend people use Chase. They're so sensitive, but I have them. Ally's a keeper, obviously Bank of America, Amex Business. But yeah, all the accounts. Like it's either 90 days or until specified in the terms of the product rules. And once I can close it down, I phone them up, close it down. I'll see again in a year or whatever it is that I can churn them again. Like I've hit some banks, I've Huntington, I've done so many times I can't open it online. I have to go in branch because they just
Okay.
deny me. But in branch, they'll take me. But yeah, just keep churning through them.
Wow. Now, I know, do you have membership on your second channel that people could join? Like either
Yeah,
by
it's so what we have is if you're interested in this, I appreciate the plug. I'll always tell people start out with the free stuff. The only thing, so we have, it's called Profitable. I think I named it Profitable Pro because everything has Pro in the name, but it's a Discord. And it's the same. You can join on either channel, whichever channel is your favorite, and you get full access either way. There are sections for credit cards and bank promotions and other stuff, but you get full access. Just join on one, whichever one you like the best. And so we're trying to assemble a group of like the best bonus hunters in the game. Credit cards is hard because we all have the same credit card, so you're just not going to get a lot of referrals off of credit cards, right? We all have the same cards. But bank promotions, the gist of it is we've got people finding promotions, bringing us promotions, referring one another. I know I just have a gentleman in there who's been signing us all up as a family member to some credit union in California, right? And he gets to keep all that money, right? He's got a group of people. It's easy to talk to folks on Discord. So it's $5 a month, cancel anytime. The main perk is, because talking to me isn't that cool. When we have a bonus with a referral program, I will use my link, and then it oftentimes maxes out, and then I will start putting in channel member links in the videos and the blog posts, and the channel member gets to keep all that money. So the only thing I try to make sure is that like everyone's membership is paid for at the end of the year, and then anything else is just like extra, right? But again, we've got people who make friends in there, refer one another, refer me, and that's kind of how we go. The idea was that one, we can make a lot more money if we can talk, and it's tough on YouTube, right? Because we've seen the spam bots and everything, but bring it all, like connect everything, right? Because I look out into like the internet, like that's the thing that's like missing. Like TPG, back when TPG was the man, like they should have been the biggest YouTube person out of all of us, honestly, but they never were. Dr. Credit, as big as he is, or OMAD, or those guys should also have a YouTube presence, but they don't. I kind of thought, I was like, well, no one's really put it all together. So if you want cards and information, you can have it. If you want bank promotions, you can have it. If you want a little bit more, you've got the website. If you want all of it, then you can, become a channel member. And the last thing I'll say is it was important to come up with something. Like financial people aren't going to sign up for a Discord that's just like, hey, you get some stickers and I'll respond to your comment. Responding to comments is my job, and I do enjoy it because it's how I know people, right, and talk to them. So I had to come up with something that's like, yes, I want money, but I also want everyone else to make money, and then we'll all make money together, which has kind of been the theme of the entire ecosystem, if you will, of like how can we make the most profitable community. So that's kind of what we have going. So we're like 80 members strong. I know Joe's kind enough to be over there, but definitely check out the free stuff. And if you feel like it's something you want to get into the referral game and like play a little bit harder, definitely check it out.
So do they do this? Can they do this through the description boxes in your videos? Is it linked there? Is it right on?
Yeah, there's a link there in the description box, and there's like YouTube puts like a join button next to the subscribe button as well. So if you click it, it doesn't make you join, but like I think my face pops up and I talk about it. I also have a blog post I wrote about it. And then we did a full video on like the idea as well on the website. So if you search like Profitable Pro, it'll I think I can drop it in here actually.
Yeah, please.
Let me look it up really quick. So that's got like all the directions. I think I pinned the video as well. So if anyone is interested, they can see. Like the idea came about, I kind of touched on it, but like it was back when, if you remember John from Bank Account Bonus Central, like I was using one of his referrals. Then I messaged a guy on in the Doctor of Credit. Wants me to connect my YouTube channel and all this. Good Lord. We can do this. Allow. I should have done. I have a StreamYard account. You would have think I would have just. There we go. I just don't think I logged in. There we go. So then that's the blog post I had written about it way back when. It's got the video linked if anyone's interested. Yeah, so that's the idea of it, because we were able to basically, 3 of us were able to make sure that 3 people made money as opposed to just like 1 person or 2 people making money. So that's kind of what we try to do. But so far, I think it's working pretty well so far.
I want people to check that out, guys. Do me a favor, guys. Please check this out, because I'm telling you, RJ, today, you've, as Anthony said, what you were dropping here with gems. It's not stuff that I normally do here, or a lot of us don't do. And you're bringing things up that as I'm talking to you, I'm like in space, because I'm thinking of how I'm going to start doing this stuff with you. And this question just came in. Jonathan, how are you, Papi? Jonathan Martinez, thank you for being here. Is there a maximum amount of business cards that one can try applying for if you're only applying as a sole prop? Gracias from Spanish Harlem. Huepa, papi. That's my hood. That's where I worked my whole life, Spanish Harlem. So what do you think, RJ?
No, I don't think there's a limit. I mean, I think it's kind of the same personal rules apply, maybe a little bit more strict, but like, if you're talking about Chase, like I wouldn't apply for like 5 ink cards in a month, right? But I've held all 4 ink cards at one time. When I knew we had a channel member, a few, when they were doing the 900s, who was getting one like every 30 days. So I'd say it works very similar to like personal, right? Like eventually they're going to be concerned about the same things. So your velocity with that individual issuer, of course, they're still going to pull credit. So again, like I got denied for like the Wells Fargo Signify, but because they can see all the applications I've, pulled, even though business cards won't report to personal credit unless you on the naughty list, they'll still show, the inquiries will still show up. They'll be concerned about how much credit they're extending to you. So sole props or just businesses in general, you'll often get really low limits. Like Amex starts me off with $2,000. Chase usually gives me $3,000, which, I mean, again, it's a relative term depending what credit limits you're used to seeing, but you should be fine to move through them just like you would personal if you just kind of think about it like the exact same. I think the key here is just make sure you're putting into your business has been at least around for a year. Revenue is kind of like whatever you're comfortable putting. Just, just remember, like, you got to put something enough that they feel comfortable to lend you something, right? Is the main thing. But usually you should be fine and shouldn't run into too much information or issues.
You make a good point. So whenever you fill out those forms, and a lot of us here, I don't have the business cards, but it gets intimidating when you get to the part of, what you're, how much you're making on the business, and then how much do you spend a month. What's a good barometer? Let's say you don't have an exact amount, or because you're relatively new. I've been telling people, try to at least put anywhere from, 3,000 to 4,000 a month. That would put you at about 48,000 a year, or 50, and that you spend at least 1,500. Because if you spend nothing, why are they going to give you a card? Is that the right way to go about it, or what do you think?
No, I agree. It's like because a lot of it's like a comfort level. Like I haven't seen, you're much more likely to just get outright denied than anyone to come back and ask for any information, right? American Express will do financial reviews, sure. Smaller banks, like that Citizens business card was super annoying. PNC does go to the back office, right? But like you got a ways to go before you're like picking off like these junk cards like me, right? Like you were talking about the Chase, the Cities, the Amexes of the world. They're more likely to just outright deny you. So yeah, I think I've been putting like 50 grand, and like that's me like adding in YouTube, my bank referrals and all that. So I could get to 50. I mean, sure, most of it's personal income. YouTube as a whole, I think I'm only like maybe 10 grand a year, honestly, but I've been putting like 50. I've also been concerned of like, I have 3 mortgages, right? So I do have to get somewhat creative because I need a way to like reflect the rental income from the other 2, or they'll just like, well, how are you even living, right? But yeah, 50, like for me, I'm a 50. I think 30 to 40 It's usually okay. I mean, because Amex had a rule when you were doing like their line of credit bonus where they needed like at least like 36,000 a year or something. So I think something like that. Then spend. I think I've been putting like 1,000 to 2,000. Nothing crazy. Nothing that would set off alarms, right?
But that's why. But people are like, oh, if I put nothing, no, and I'm like, you have to put something because
Got to put something.
why
Yes.
would they? Why would they extend credit to you if you're going to say you're not going to spend anything? It just makes no sense.
Right. No,
So
you got to put something, and we just got to understand like business. One, they know what we're doing, right? Like a lot of times we love to think we're super slick. They know, but at the same time, sole props, even small businesses as a whole, are still very risky to begin with, right? They don't know if it's your full focus or not. You don't know what you're doing, how it's being run, and all that stuff. So it's risky to start. So you're usually going to get a lower credit limit. That's how they manage risk. And most of us just want it for the intro offer, anyways, and it's manageable to get it done. It's annoying, but like it's manageable.
no,
I
I
would keep
appreciate
doing it.
that. Xavier, thank you so much for the super chat again, Papi. Again, I'm gonna call Xavier Mr. 1099 because he does this all the time. Papi, I love you. Thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate it. Um, with the business, did you ever get the Ink Premiere? That's like the
Oh,
step
the
out
metal,
of
the
the
blue
cards.
one, yeah. So I got that one. So I remember like it was gonna come out and then like it didn't, but it did at the same time. Meaning like there were some links out there. Like you should never do this at home, but like someone on the docker had posted a link, and I was like, well, let's see what happens. And that's how I got it. I wouldn't like recommend. Like I didn't make a video about it, a bonus video, because I can't just tell people to go use this random link. It's not good. A lot of this is like do what I say, not what I do,
Right.
But yeah, I had that card. I had
Now,
all four of them for a minute.
what's the difference for people that don't know with the Premiere, let's say, and the Ink Preferred with the points that they don't play in the same sandbox, correct?
No, so they all earn ultimate reward points, but at least I could have sworn there was a story a while back where there was a window where it looked like you could transfer points from the Premiere, but originally you couldn't, right? So they earned ultimate reward points, weirdly enough, but like you couldn't take your Premiere and move them to like an Ink Preferred or a Sapphire card, likely because it was like that 5,000 earning what 2.5 points on things of like $5,000 or more. They wanted to protect themselves from that. But I could have sworn there was a story where there was a window where you could, but I don't know if that's still the same. They treat the cards differently as well, because I had called in to try to move some credit limit between ink cards, and the rep messed up. It was kind of my fault because I was trying to do too much in one transaction, and he moved some credit limit from one card to the Premier, and he's like, I can't actually move it back, which is also weird because the Premier was supposed to be a charge card, but it definitely has a credit limit. And I know this because I had that conversation. So it's a very strange card that they made to begin with, honestly.
And I see them now promoting it like in commercials, but they kind of have it always with shipping or big costs associated
Yeah.
with it. And then you mentioned you had a problem. What was that you just said it 2 minutes ago? The one that you applied for that was a pain in the neck for business.
Oh, the Citizens Bank.
That's like, have you applied and gotten the Wyndham Business Earners card?
I have not.
Okay. So Wyndham Business I got because you become a diamond member at Wyndham Hotels, right? It took me 3 months to get that card. The back office, as you said, was a nightmare. I had to actually go to Staples and fax, because they wouldn't take it any other way, fax my paperwork to show them what they needed. And then still it was like a back and forth, all that to then get like a $3,000 credit line. But because it's Barclays, they did something that's weird that other companies don't do. Because I had a low credit line and I was going to Europe to stay at a Wyndham hotel, they let me move money from my JetBlue account that was a $35,000 credit line over to the business side.
Oh,
That was
that's nice.
shocking.
Yeah, you usually can't do that.
So
That's
they let me
nice.
move 10 over so that I said, look, I said, 3,000 in Europe is nothing. That's called Monday. Like, what are you gonna do? So I thought that was cool that they allowed you to move between personal and business. The perks that come with it also with Wyndham, which is great, is you get also Caesar's diamond status. So if you're into going to casinos or whatever, you get status with them at Caesars and the Tropicana and Harrah's with it, and then they give you 4 days to stay at the Atlantis at the Bahamas for free.
Wow.
So it's not a bad deal, but it's a good card. Sometimes they throw a pretty good bonus out. It's an easy pick. It's an easy hit. I think the spend requirement was like 2,000 in 4 months, which was nothing. But you should look into that to see. I think they usually throw up a good bonus in the fall. So that might be one that you want to check, because they're pretty good with that. But it was a nightmare to get in, And then I'm going to leave you with this, because I know we're going on 2 hours, but I want to ask you, if you had to pick one main bank nationwide and a pretty big, well-known local bank, which would you choose for, cash back, for things like that you're doing, or that you feel that it's not so difficult?
Like to bank with, like to actually do banking with?
To do what you're doing, like to open up an account, to make sure that you can at least hit a good bank bonus. So are there smaller banks like an M&T bank or a TD bank where I live here in the Northeast that's all over? Are those good banks to do, or PNC?
Yeah, they're all good. I mean, they all have a different level of annoyances, right? So you want like a national bank, like Chase has been running their $900 checking plus savings personal offer for quite some time. They have like a $750 business offer, a $300 one is a little bit more approachable. Citi, I like Citi because they don't play any. They have their nickname for a reason. It's a family show, but we know their nickname, right? And but they're like, just give us money, we'll give you money. It's how it works. It's great. Regionals, like the mid-size, Fifth Third is really good. They pay out very quickly. They're not everywhere. Huntington, very good. Plus, they're one of the last few you can churn like once a year. Huntington Business and Personal, they pay quite a bit. I can't remember if it's their business or personal account, but like one of the two, it seems daunting because it's like you need $25,000 in deposits, but you can just keep ping ponging the same like money back and forth till you hit 25 grand and like get the money. So that's good. Huntington, PNC, Key Bank is good. I mean, I'm kind of naming places like in my.
No, but I'm glad. That's why, because they're all over the place, and that's what I wanted people to know. You just don't have to need the big guys.
No, banks. I mean, this is what credit unions have promotions. It's the only real way to get new customers. No one wakes up and be like, I want to change my bank today, right? So credit unions, small regional banks, most of them have some kind of promotional offer. Do they all? No, but like there's a ton out there, right?
Which credit union do somebody asked me and I skipped over like a
we talked about Affinity, didn't we?
Did we talk about Affinity?
Yeah, someone asked if what was like the best credit union, nationwide credit union bonus. It was like I picked Affinity, which is a little bit harder to get into now with the referral, but I can still get you in. Like we just had to stay probably in communication to prove that I just have to give you whatever information they need. And if anyone wants to follow up, I mean, you can find me I'm everywhere at RJ. Like I'm on, even if you don't join the thing, you can just talk to me on Discord if you want. I think it's just RJ Financial.
RJ, I can't thank you enough, because I just literally got text and I'm responding through text to people watching this, and they're like, this is great. This is great. Thank you so much. Because we don't really discuss this. We really don't. Here we have Leanne. Thank you so much, Leanne, for being here tonight. I appreciate you. She did that with Barclays, what I was mentioning, JetBlue business
card. I've seen Leanne before. See, it's the picture that gets me. Like when I see, like I saw the Grand Moff Tarkin, which I know is not his name, but like you have to understand, to me, you're now just always be Grand Moff Tarkin. I don't even want to know your real name. Like I've seen Leanne's picture before. I've seen Vincent's picture before. It's like I'm a picture person. I'm like, oh, I got it.
You know who did that to me? So Aloha Danica. I'm like, okay, so on live streams, I was like, Mama, thank you so much, Ma. And then he sent me an email. He's like, my name is Garrett. And I was like,
not anymore. It's not.
Garrett,
not anymore. It's not. There's a guy called Doc who like writes in, and his picture is like on Napoleon Dynamite. Like, I don't know this man personally, but he's great. And he shows up a lot. And he's just now, to me, he's Napoleon Dynamite. Like the last guy was Grand Moff.
Here's Aloha Danica. How you doing, Garrett?
Exactly.
Oh, here is Grand Moff Tarkin on RJ's channel. That's Filmo.
Yeah, good. Because it's the picture, so it does it. Like it's iconic. So, But I mean, whatever people like. So I put like my email, like rj@profitablecontent.com, is on my channel page. I think the website is a contact me form as well. I check them all. Some of them I'm better at checking than others, granted. But if you need anything, by all means. I mean, again, like we've talked about off stage, like when people ask us something, it's like they are Googling it. I think the job is to be able to get people answers and have that connection. So, and then, it's just information. You can do what you will with it. You don't have to agree with me. Sometimes we don't agree, and like that's fine. It makes it more fun sometimes. But
No, and I appreciate everything. You've always answered my questions. You've always just been so damn helpful. And as Anthony's saying, two of his favorite people, amazing live stream. Thank you.
Appreciate it, sir.
And Tariq, Flex Gains, that you made their live tonight. And honestly, RJ, I want to leave you with the final word, Papa. Tell the people, mi gente, what you want them to know and what's next. And then we say adios.
I tell everyone the same thing. If you watch this, you hung out with this long, first of all, thank you. Anytime you talk, for part of a living and people say, no, come talk more, let alone for almost 2 hours. I mean, it is like it's a huge compliment. So it's been fantastic to be here and see folks, from all the channels, we've seen come together and show support. For anyone else who's like on the fence, I say just try one. Chime is the easiest one. It's not even my referral link. I'm not plugging my own thing. But if you want to talk about it, I say just try one to start. Get a feeling for it. See how it pays out. See if you like it or not. If it's not for you, then it's not for you. So be it. But I also think about, your job that you do at work is probably significantly harder than sitting there and reading a post about how to open up a bank account. And, we're all of us aren't, the super fancy influencers, right? So I do think this game gives you an easy way to make a material difference in your life, and that's not a lot that other channels or other hobbies simply don't provide. So I think about it from that lens, and it's like really like, can I afford to not do it, which is kind of how I keep myself motivated in going. So like I said, the whole premise of the channel is to build a profitable community. Again, you don't have to join for that. The only thing that's paywalled is the referral link stuff. Everything else is we put all the videos out there, all the bonuses, all that stuff. So we'd be happy to have you over there. I get you whatever you need so you can get started and you'll start seeing the money come in.
RJ, Papi, I thank you. And I hope when I say Papi, it's a term of endearment.
You're okay.
I really do. I have the utmost respect for you. I just thank you for what you provide to all of us on a weekly and a couple of times a week, and just the accessibility you give us to you, which is huge. I thank you for being here for 2 hours tonight. I can't wait to meet you.
Did we set a record for time? Like what's
I did one with 3 hours for Anthony, and my butt was numb. Wow. Yeah, that was insane.
At this point, like I'd keep going. I was like, I didn't plug this light in. I was like, it's probably gonna die. It's like that giant globe. So but I won't push the record. We'll do a follow-up,
Absolutely. And that's what you look, and even Jonathan here, thank you for sharing the knowledge. Gracias. That's what it is. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it's huge for us. It's huge for our people, for the young ones, for the ones that are older that are at the point where I'm at, let's say, and still want to do other things and learn other things, So thank you, my friend. I can't wait to meet you in New Orleans. I just can't wait. And God bless you. I thank you. I tell everybody out here, thank you for the super chats, mi gente. Thank you for just being here every Tuesday with me. You could be anywhere else. You chose to be here. But like we always end these videos, and I mean this with all my heart, on behalf of RJ and myself, we thank you for giving us the privilege of your time. Until next time, mi gente, I love you guys. Que Dios me lo cuide. God bless you. David, good night, papi. Tariq, good night. Juan, Phil, Vincent, Jonathan. The list goes on. You guys are amazing. God bless you guys. I love you guys. Cuídense.